Hello YouTubers and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much for rejoining me, and for those who are new, thank you so very much. Please like and subscribe and keep an eye out for new videos in the future. So without further ado, I'm going to be showing you how to do a simple acrylic colour block, and in order to do this very simple design, I'm going to be doing it on one of my trusty little nail pops. I am currently sourcing a flexi handout because that would be so much nicer if I could get one of those. Anyway, so I'm using these colours by CJP, Purplicious, Mermaid, 18 karat gold and magenta. I'll flip them over so you can have a closer look at how beautiful they are. So the purple has a slight pearlescence to it and a shimmer. We've got quite a bright magenta pink, an 18 karat gold, and a really lovely sort of an aqua colour green, which is very much like the apple shine but a little bit deeper in colour. So for all of you who know the CJP system, you'll know exactly what I mean. So to show you, I actually have apple shine here, and this is what apple shine is like, and this is mermaid. So there isn't an awful lot in it. Let's open them up and see if they're any different inside. So apple shine, as everybody knows, is a very fine acrylic aqua green, and mermaid, just tap the top, stop any from coming out. It has a shimmer to it, if you can see that with my camera, and is a slightly darker colour. So there we are. So in future, if you go on their site and you see these two and you are not sure, you'll now have a rough idea of what they look like. Okay, just put the lid back on that and move it to one side. I might as well keep that open as I'm going to be using it, and open up the rest of them. Right, so here we go. This is absolutely stunning. I mean, look at that. It's like a treasure chest. Right, and my magenta. Let's get that open too. Look at that pink. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Right, so I'm just going to move these to one side so I have some space. It doesn't matter in what particular order you'd like to put them in, but obviously you would lay them down according to what your preference may be with colours. I'm just going to choose whatever comes first. So I'm just going to literally take all the air bubbles out of my brush and make sure that it's thoroughly saturated with the monomer, which I think that is a good enough go with that. Right, okay. I think I'm going to go in with the Purplicious first. So I'd like to get a good lot of that. And just drain the bead a little bit. So as it's a colour block, you don't really want to have it too wet. Obviously too dry and it will be unworkable. You want it to be slightly putty in consistency so that you can still push it and nudge it around. If you find that it is a little bit too dry, then just load your brush up with a little bit of monomer, and that way you can just pat and pull into place, which is what I have just done just then. Okay, so as you can see, I've now placed down my first colour, and I think I'd like to have it on a slight curve for this colour block. Now, some people just like to keep straight lines. We could do that and then file them crisp, but I'm just going to be a little bit more technical and put a curve in. Why not? Okay, and literally like to do quite a lot of my cutouts with the side of my brush. So literally just make sure it is clean and nudge, nudge, nudge all the way down the edges and pat it flat. Don't worry too much because you will be filing later, so any little bumps or anything in the acrylic you can smooth out later on. So as you can see, I've done a bit of a cutout with this acrylic using the edge of my brush. Some people find this very difficult and actually use tools in order to cut out their block work, which is totally fine. I have a little tool. It's quite good for making V shapes, but I do prefer to actually work in my own cutouts with the brush, if you see what I mean. So if I was making a V shape or something, I'd like to actually make it with the actual brush rather than a tool, but that's just my personal preference. Everybody does this in completely different ways. This is just my take on it. So you may see that others do this in a completely different manner. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. That is now starting to go hard. I think I'm quite happy with that. If it was straight, I'd get a file up against it because there's a nice wall here. But because it's a curve, I can't really get a file in there. I suppose you could get a tiny bit in there, but as it's on a tip and it's just a demonstration, I think we'll just leave it how it is. So you get the rough idea. As long as it's nice, it has an edge to it, you can butt up the next colour quite nicely. Okay, so I hope you can see this. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit better. There we are. Okay, so I think now would be the time to probably try a... Yes, we'll go in with a mermaid. Let's put a little bit of aqua green in here. Okay, so I'm just going to drain that bead out slightly, and you want to butt it up next to the colour. Oh, it's absolutely stunning. I forgot what this colour looks like. It's been quite a while since I used it. It actually has glitter particles in it. I will show you in a minute and see if we can zoom in. But that is absolutely stunning. I can see why it's called mermaid now. It has some glitter in it and some like a shimmer running through it, which is absolutely stunning. And when it catches the light, it is really nice. So this is completely different from Apple Shine, not just in colour, but the fact that it has the glitter and it has the shimmer running through it, which is lovely. I think I want to make it a little steeper this side because I'm trying to follow the same curve as the one I made with the purple. I've still got time. Good thing about CJP is it actually gives you a little bit of time so that you can work with it. I'm actually allergic to normal monomer, so I'm using the Hema-free, and out of any other Hema-frees that I've used, this one for me is the best, so I'm really pleased with that. Okay, like I said, it doesn't have to be completely perfect, as long as you've got a bit of a wall here so that you can butt the next colour up. It is a little bit more trickier when you're putting in curves, like I said, onto a straight line or a cross section like a diagonal line, because you can't really get a file in here. So just keep working it until you're happy with that. Don't worry about the top too much because that will be filed later. So I think, just looking at my wall here, just making sure that it's completely as crisp as I can get it with my brush. You can take the monomer out of your brush, make sure it's clean so there's no acrylic stuck in the bristles. Okay. All right. Yep, I think I'm quite happy with that. So I think we'll put a little bit gold in the middle section. Let's do that. Now this is a stunning gold. It has a slight hollow in it as well, which is really nice. You see that? It's very nice. I'm going to drain the bead out slightly. Just literally tapped the back of my brush on the paper towel. I don't want it too wet and I don't want it too dry. I want it pliable. If you've seen any of my other videos, you will notice that a lot of my work, I work quite wet. But for this gold, I am literally have drained the back of the bead out just to make it a little bit more pliable. It is a little bit more trickier because it does actually have some chunkier bits of glitter in it, but that's okay. We will do the very best we can with it. So just nudging and patting and pulling it into place here, and I'm then going to take the side of my brush and I'm going to make that curve again as best I can. Oh, one of my bristles has fallen out of my brush. It's okay, it happens. Okay. remember your sidewalls as well. But don't worry too much because, like I said, you're going to be filing all of the little bumps and lumps out later on. So when you are happy with how that looks, if you think it's running in uniform with the others, then you can move on to your next colour, which for me is pink magenta. So again, I'm just going to slightly drain the back of the bead out and place that next to that beautiful 18 karat gold. Now at this point I'm thinking, do I take it all the way down or do I leave a gap and go back in with the purple? I think I'll go back in with the purple. So I've made this bead a little bit wet, but that is okay. We will just wait a second because it will start to air cure or air dry. Not hair dry, air dry. Sorry, I'm not very good. My joke's absolutely appalling. Okay, so moving on. I'm just going to add a little bit more to that because it looks a touch thin. And just literally don't worry if you make any mistakes. If it is still wet, you can pull it off the nail. It's not a problem. So I'm just going to get my brush and make another curve in there. It's going to be quite a tight fit down the bottom here because we haven't got a lot of the tip to work with. But that's okay. We will make it work. So there we are. Just have a little look and see, does it line up roughly with the others? I think I just want to pat it down a little bit there, bring it in a little bit there, and recut into it with my brush, and just pat those sides in. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to complete this off now with the last colour, which is the original first colour, which is purplious. And I'm just going to drain the back of that bead out slightly and plonk that down next to the magenta. And this is where it will get a little bit trickier because we have very little space to work in. All right, maybe I just add a tiny little bit more. Again, I'm going to drain that right out thoroughly this time. Add it in there. Don't worry if you overlap the colour that's in front of the one that you're laying down, because by the time you file it, it would have all been removed, so no worries there. Okay, I think that I'm fairly happy with that. Let's get this tip right. All right, so that is the rough colour block before file. Yes, it looks a bit raggedy, but once it's filed smooth, it'll be absolutely beautiful. So we'll see in a bit when I've filed it. Okay, so I have filed and buffed this nail out smooth, taken any lumps and bumps out of it. I have wiped off and got rid of all the dust. I have got rid of all the dust also on my desk and changed the paper, and now it's ready for a top coat. Now you're thinking, why hasn't she capped it in clear? Wow, I don't know if you've noticed, but let me see if I can find one. So these are the colours I've used. None of them have a cap on them, but let me see if I can find one for you. Okay, so here we go. CJP is really kind to us by showing us when something needs to be capped, i.e. the tiny little baseball cap there means that the colour needs to be capped in a clear. However, these don't have the baseball cap on them, so it means they don't actually need to be capped in clear. So that's great, because that is going to save me some time. And now I've buffed and filed this and it's ready for its top coat. So let's crack on with that. I'm using the CJP No Wipe top coat, which is tack free. It's fabulous. It's got a really high gloss to it as well, which is lovely. I've used quite a few gel polishes, but this particular top coat is my favourite. So I'm just going to give that a real generous amount, and then I will take the excess off the edges. If this was on a client and you went over, you would just take a little brush with a little dab of acetone on it and just go around and neaten up to take it off the skin. I literally just take the edge of my finger and run it down the very edge to take off any excess, so it keeps the nail nice and crisp. Now look at that. Those colours are absolutely stunning together, aren't they? So that's going to go in the lamp now for 30 to 60 seconds in an LED lamp, or 2 minutes in a UV lamp, and I will show you the outcome. Okay, so while that's in the lamp, I thought that I would recreate the same design using these beautiful Premier gels in exactly the same colours as you see on my trusty little glass tile. These little glass tiles are fantastic, by the way. You can pick these up on AliExpress and eBay and all over the place at the moment. They're literally only a few pounds, and they are fantastic for putting acrylic paint or gel colours on so that you can do your wonderful creations. So here goes. So we're going to start with the purple, which is exactly what we started with the acrylic, and lay that down, following the same pattern as we did with the acrylic. And don't worry if it's a little bit sparse, because we can layer up, so it won't be so bad. Okay, and then in order to get the line in, I'm literally going to put a bit of acetone on my brush, and I'm just going to take it around the edge and put my curve in where I want to put it. Good thing about gel polish is you can manipulate it into place up until cure. There you go. I seem to be quite happy with this. Alright, so I'm going to cure this now. Okay, so now that is cured, I'm now going to go in with this beautiful Acrylic green and lay this down next to it. And start slightly away, and then I'm going to butt up next to it very carefully. This brush is amazing. I bought this in an art shop. It's real hair. It's made by Winsor and Newton, and it's a size 0, and it's brilliant for this kind of work. Like I said, if you make any mistakes, don't worry, because you can take it out with acetone up till cure. I just want to literally nudge it up next to the one next to it, just to get rid of that tiny little gap that's showing there. There you go. Don't worry about any gaps, because you can smooth them all out. Not a problem. Any air bubbles, you can push them out. There's a little tiny hair there. Right, you can come out. Alright, so I'm going to make my curve. Okay, just cleaning my brush. I just needed a little bit more over this side here. And I just need a little bit more here. I'm just going to neaten that tiny little bit up there. Right there. And yeah, I think that I'm happy with that. Alright, so that's going to go in the lamp. Okay, so that's back out the lamp now, and the next colour was gold. I'm going to take my gold and I'm going to place that down next. And the only bit you've really got to be careful is butting it up to the colour above. So just keep following along. This one's a little bit trickier because it's got glitter particles in it. Speaking of glitter, I have a custom made glitter that Smiley's glitter store made me before Christmas, and the colours of this are the colours of the glitter, and it's called Rio Carnival, and I know that because I named it. I got to name it, which was really sweet of Sarah at Smiley's. She is absolutely wonderful lady and does so much to help me, so I can't thank her enough. Please go and check them out. They have the most amazing glitters. Not only that, they also do nail accessories too, like transfers and foils and slices and crystals and all sorts. So it's a really wonderful online store to go and check out. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I didn't actually need to do a lot of work with this one, so that's quite good. Just this corner here could do a bit of a nudge. There we are. Let's take the excess off the edge here. See, if there's a little bit of a build up, I just take the edge of my finger, I push in and I pull out, and it just takes that excess off. And I would just go back in with my brush and I would literally just smooth that curve around nice and neat. There you go. Check in this side, make sure you clean your brush and go back in this side and just manipulate it into shape. Just a little bit here, and I'm happy with that. So that's going to go in the lamp again. Okay, so that is now out of the lamp. I'm going to clean my brush and I'm going to go in with the pink. And I'm going to lay that down next to this lovely gold, starting slightly away from it, just in case you make a mistake and go over. It would be a little bit trickier because you can't really file it off. However, you could just get a brush with some acetone. As the layer above is cured, you should be able to just wipe it clean off. So again, just nudging up to the colour next to it, bring it down a little bit and move it across. And just cut out that lovely line using your brush. I like to hold it against my hand like this so that it anchors down while I use my other hand that is also pushed against this hand, so I'm pushed against here, and it helps me to steady my hand when I'm doing freehand or anything like line work or anything like that. It just stops my hand from shaking and it gives me a little bit more control with my brush. So there we are. I'm quite happy with that. Again, I'm just going to take the excess off. There was a slight pooling in the side there. You'll find that with gel polish. If it's too thick, you'll find that it pools in an area. Sometimes it could be near the cuticle, it could be at the end of the nail, it could be at the edge of the nail. And it was Robin Moses actually that gave me that nice little tip about taking off the excess. So thank you very much, Robin Moses. So there we are. I think I'm relatively happy with that. Let me just quickly do a quick clean up here. I think it's blowing a hoolie outside. It sounds like rain and wind and all sorts out there. Okay, I'm just going to neaten this edge up this side. All right, so I think I'm happy with that. So that's going to go on the lamp again. Okay, so we're back out the lamp again. Yes, it can be a bit long-winded, but it's best to get it done right. If you want it nice and neat, it will take time to cure each layer, unlike the acrylic, but you still have to wait for it to dry, I guess, a little bit. All right, so next colour from here was back to the purple again. As we look on the nail, it was the first colour, so we're going to go back to that again, holding against my hand against the other hand to anchor and steady, and I'm going to lay down this beautiful vibrant purple colour and just follow that curve around. Let's pick up a little bit more, lay it just in front so I can nudge it back into place. Okay, just nudging that up against that lovely pink. Can you see there's a slight gap there? So I'm just going to nudge it up and just bring it over to one side. This gel polish likes to self-level anyway, so any small gaps will close. It's only if it's really sparse that it will leave a real big gap in the gel polish. Okay, so now's the time to put my curve in. So I have a slight bit of acetone on my brush, and I'm just literally going to put it over and make that curve around here. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That's going to go in the lamp. Back out the lamp again. We're nearly there, folks. Bear with me, we're nearly there. Okay, so next colour is back to that beautiful aqua green. So let's lay this down. So I think by watching several layers later, you've probably got the gist of how this is done. And of course, this can be done with straight lines, and it would probably be a little bit easier without a curve. But I just like to make everything difficult. And like I say, if you put too much on, I've put a little bit too much on here. Just take the edge of your finger, push in, pull out. Same with this side, push in, pull out. And if you go over slightly, just get your brush with your acetone on it, make sure it's clean. And then just, there's this corner here I'm not too happy with. I'm just going to neaten that up a little bit. I'm just going to now nudge this into place. Yep. And I'm going to put my curve in at the bottom. Okay, so this is going back in the lamp. So here we go, ladies and gents. We're going to go in with the very last colour, which is gold. And we're going to complete this design. And then all we need to do is cure this and top coat it. And then I will put the two types of block work next to each other so that you can see how different or not so different they are from each other and what you might prefer. So I'm just going to fill in the whole of this bottom here because I think it would be a little bit difficult to try and do the gel polish in a tiny weeny little space. It can be done, it could be done, but to save a little bit of time, and I expect you're getting quite bored of seeing the same thing over and over again, we will just lay down this colour in the last section. I'm going to make sure that's all dragged down nicely to the tip, and take off any excess that I don't need. So push in, pull out to take off the excess, push in, pull out, and that one's okay. So I'm just going to tidy up. And just nudge that little bit in the corner there into place. And there we have it. And this is going to go back in the lamp. So while we're waiting for that to come out of the lamp, I thought I would do a little recap on what we've used in this tutorial. So these are the acrylic colours by CJP: Purplious, Magenta, 18 karat gold and Mermaid. If you remember the colours of those, you may have something similar to these colours in your own kit. And then the Premier Gel Cosmopolitan Pink. This one I believe is a number, so this is 529 and it's like a pinky purple. This one I think has lost its tag. Yes, it has, but you'll see the colour is on the top, so if you go on their website you'll be able to find this colour. I cannot remember for the life of me what it's called. And this beautiful gold with the glitter in it is called Gold Dust. So those are from Premier Gel, and the acrylic is from CJP. All right, so back to the nail. So it is now being cured and ready for a top coat. As you can see, it's not as shiny as it could be, so let's give it some luster. So using the CJP No Wipe Tack Free Top Coat, and let's go in and give it that high gloss shine and bring it to life. I'm going to be quite generous because I'll just take the excess off the edges, no problem. Just removing the excess, and there you have it. That's going to go in the lamp now. 30 seconds, 60 seconds LED, or 2 minutes in a UV lamp. So these are both out now and they are completed, and I think they're really quite cute. They've come out really well, this one being the acrylic colour block and this one being the gel polish colour block. These are the products that we've used on both of them. The CJP colours and the Premier Gel colours to match, and I think they've matched up rather well considering. But there we are. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.